Kirk, your overall feelings about the game tomorrow?
This is what it's all about. You get into the latter part of November, and there's certain games within this division and conference that are going to affect everything, not just the division and the SEC championship, but in our case now with the playoff. I mean, the winner of this game is obviously in a great position to emerge, and the loser, if it's Alabama, I think is out. If it's Mississippi State and it's a close game, I think Mississippi State still would have a discussion and an argument to be able to say they still deserve to be in the top 4, but there's going to be a lot at stake, obviously, in the game.
Have you been surprised with how Blake Sims has played this year, just given where Alabama's quarterback situation was, I guess, in the spring, and now he's starting?
Yeah, I have been surprised with Lane Kiffin coming in, a new offensive system that they had to learn. Quarterback that, if you asked me in May or June who the quarterback would have been, I would have said Jake Coker for sure, just based on his physical talents. But whenever I said that, I always said that's if he picks up the system. Jake wasn't able to do that, and they're fortunate that Blake has been. It sounds like the last scrimmage in August opened up the door for him to take over. But I don't think we've seen a complete game yet from Blake. We have at home against some lesser opponents. But I think this is a game where they're at home. Mississippi State's determined to try to stop the running game and put pressure on Blake. I think this is a really good opportunity for Blake to show the nation that this is his team and it's his time, and it's his opportunity to kind of take the Crimson Tide to their ultimate goal.
Even as a wide receiver, do you think Amari Cooper is a legitimate Heisman candidate?
I think he is. I mean, if the Heisman Trophy theoretically goes to the best individual player in the country, based on his highlights and what he's done this year, he sure has thrown his hat in the ring. I mean, when he's healthy, Amari Cooper is the most electrifying player with the ball in his hands. And, I think right now the Heisman, there are a lot of people that think it's Dak Prescott's to lose. Some people think it's Marcus Mariota. Other than that, I think you could ask 10 different people and get 10 different answers. So because of that, again, you win the Heisman Trophy in November. These are the games and these are the opportunities, and this is the kind of stage where if Amari Cooper went crazy in this game, I guarantee if we talked on Monday, he would become a name that a lot of people would be talking about. So there's a great opportunity for Dak. There's a great opportunity for Amari also to make a statement in that regard on a personal level.
It's going to be different with having Marcus Luttrell on the stage, a different kind of picker, come a different tone, do you think?
I think so. We always have fun in that segment, when we make our picks. I saw the movie. I've not read the book. I saw the movie and was one of those guys that had tears in my eyes at the end of the movie. Just such admiration and appreciation for what not only Marcus and the other 3 men went through, but just all the soldiers and everything that they face in war. So I was heartbroken when I walked out of that theater, and to have a chance to meet him is honestly the thrill of my Saturday, really. Despite all the talk about football, I can't wait to shake his hand and thank him. And I don't know how we're going to have fun in that segment. I hear he's a big college football fan, but hopefully we'll be able to keep it lighthearted and make some picks and have some fun. But it's a real honor for us to have him on our show.
Kirk asked Chris this, the playoff system and the playoff selection committee. Just kind of talk about what you think that's added to college football as far as extra discussion, extra teeth gnashing with the fans and all that kind of thing.
Well, it's funny. Last week I was in East Lansing getting ready for the Ohio State-Michigan State game, and I was on the field the way I always do before I call game. Players are warming up, teams are warming up around me, and their jumbo screens had the end of the Auburn game, the Texas A&M game on, and of course Auburn was ahead of Michigan State at the time in the rankings, and the entire stadium was staring, not at the field, but at the jumbo screen watching the game. And then when Auburn fumbled the game and the game was decided, the entire stadium, 65, 70,000 people went nuts, like they were in their family room watching a game. And I think that just kind of symbolizes where we are right now with college football. Big Ten fans watching an SEC game as if it was their own team. That's going on all over the country. And I think the BCS brought that, but it only really brought it for the top 2. Now we've expanded it to the 4, and I think because of that, it makes these other games really interesting, and it makes Mississippi State, if this were the BCS and they lost Alabama, they're done. They're out. Their season's over as far as the championship's concerned. Now, if Mississippi State loses 30-27, the committee will really look at that and say, on the road, tough environment, great team. You know what? Let's not move them down that far. So I think it's, if anything, it enhanced the debates, the arguments. When you're in my position, It's fun because people are so passionate about this sport. Every region that you go, they're just crazy about it. So I think it's grown in popularity from where we were 10 years ago to even 3 years ago to where we are now. I think the sport is just on fire. Whether it's good or bad, the debate. It's a hot topic, and I think that's what they wanted. That was one of their goals.
Kirk, I know you'll make your pick tomorrow on the show, but can you kind of break down the matchup a little bit between Mississippi State and Alabama and kind of give us your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the big thing for me is going to be Blake Sims against Mississippi State's pass defense. I think if there's one area where you can attack Mississippi State, it's through the air. And this is not old school Alabama line up and run from the I formation and pound the defense off the ball. I think this is a new up-tempo, spread you out, try to get the ball to their playmakers, obviously with Amari Cooper. So I want to see how Mississippi State defends that. And the other thing is, we've seen Mississippi State with Dak Prescott have an ability to run and throw with Dak. And as we've seen in the last 2 or 3 years, that's been sometimes challenging for Nick Saban's defense. So will they have a plan where they can contain Prescott and Josh Robinson from running and at the same time not give up some big plays through the air? So I think it'll be a little bit of a kind of a cat and mouse game going on between Dan Mullen, Dak Prescott, and Kirby and Nick and what they're doing on defense.
Last question, guys.
Talk about game day in itself, how big it's grown, just as a enterprise, basically for y'all.
It has grown. It's been amazing to be a part of it. This is my 19th year on the show, and to think about where we first started to where we are now, we just feel that we are very fortunate kind of beneficiaries of this great sport that we cover. We don't ever sit there and take bows and act like we're doing anything unique or special. I think it just happens to be that we're covering college football. If we were covering MLB or NBA, we probably wouldn't have the turnout. We probably wouldn't have the emotion and the passion around our set. So we have a great producer, a great truck, a great director, unbelievable chemistry on and off the air. So it allows us to kind of take some of our romper room sense of humor from the meeting room out to the set, and just the end of the day we're entertaining and we just try to have fun and not take ourselves too serious, and we're very, very blessed to be where we are with our show.